Hey cellmates, welcome to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.
We are going to talk about our experiences with sickle cell when we were little versus now as adults. Since, in my opinion, I feel like things change as you get older. I feel like for me, my symptoms started to get worse when we got older. Like maybe I'll say from age 16 on, but I haven't started. It was like what, 4 or 5 years? 4 or 5 years that it's gotten worse. The older I get, the worse it gets. The more problems I have, the more pain I have. I was being admitted into the hospital and all that stuff. But we'll get there. We have to start at the beginning first. Not really a timeline, but kind of like, us just talking about what we remember, like from being young to now. So basically, when I was younger, like I think I had my first sickle cell crisis when I was 1, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 1, maybe. And I had to go to the hospital for that or whatever.
In ancient times.
Well,
in ancient times.
You're not, because I'm only 30. I know. I don't look
ancient times,
but it's okay. Anyways, like I remember my mom telling me that I had a crisis when I was 1, and they had to take me to the emergency room for that crisis. And also around the age when I started walking, I was having pain in my joints, mostly my knees and stuff like that. So it took me a lot longer to start walking than it took, my cousins who didn't have sickle cell. So there's that. And, just moving along the timeline, like I remember, like playing around as a kid, and like whenever I would fall, or if I was in the pool or things like that, like every little thing would make me have a crisis, which is the vaso-occlusive crisis. I remember going to my aunt's house. I don't remember how old I was. I probably was in junior high, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was, and we made like a ghetto slip and slide or whatever, And I've always been a tomboy. I've always been very active. I always like going outside and playing and doing all of these things, trying all of these daring things or whatever. Even though some of you think that I'm a homebody, I'm naturally a homebody. I'm not. I actually enjoy the outdoors or whatever, but I also enjoy being home, which is, I feel like 50-50. Like I like both. It's half and half. It's not but whatever. I don't have to explain that to y'all. Anyways, but yeah, I remember we created the slip and slide, and you know how you gotta jump on it and then you slide down or whatever, and I ended up having a crisis in my chest and in my ribs or whatever. It was terrible. Like it was a lot. It was pretty bad pain. I remember being in elementary and playing with my friends and falling on my butt and having a crisis in my butt bone, my hips, and all of that. Yeah, I've had crises in pretty much everywhere. But yeah, the point is, every little thing I did would make me have a pain crisis. Then when I was in high school, when I was 16, for some reason, I don't know why, like whenever my period started coming on, my cycle started coming on, I would get real sick and I would have a whole lot of pain. I would be nauseous, I would be fatigued, and I would have a whole lot of pain, like on top of the cramps that you get from periods or whatever. So ever since then, like my period has been an issue for me, so I had to get on birth control, and it helped me for a little bit, but not a whole lot. And that was also around the time that I got on hydroxyurea. And back then it helped me. I can't say that it kept me completely out of the emergency room or whatever, but I wasn't going that much. Like I still had pain, but I would take care of myself at home. Like my mama would take care of me at home. But yeah, ever since then I've been having issues with my cycle. Like every month I have a crisis when my cycle comes on. I got on I was on hydroxyurea for how long? I was from 16 to what? Probably somewhere in my 20s. So I was on it for a while, and it was doing.
What, 23, 24, right?
Yeah, probably. And then I got off of it because it was making me have these like skin things or whatever. Like I was breaking out on my skin or whatever. Also, I got to that age. Matter of fact, I was about 25 because I got to the age where they wanted to send me over to an adult doctor. So I kind of took a break because they were trying to figure that whole thing out. They didn't have adult sickle cell doctors during that time. So I started going back to my pediatrician. And then that's when I got off of hydroxyurea. And I probably was off of it for how long? Because I started going back to MUSC a couple of years ago. Like maybe because I was still with that boy.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I started getting... No, it was maybe about 3 years ago.
About 3.5.
3 or 4 years ago. Because I'm trying to... Because I was 25 when when they were trying to switch me over.
Yeah.
I'm 30 now, and that's 5 years. So I was probably off of it for like a year and a half or 2 years, and I got back on it. I tried it again 3 years ago, and it didn't work the same for me. It ended up keeping my hemoglobin low when it would drop. Like my hemoglobin was being like in the 3s, the 4s. I started getting admitted to the hospital a lot more. I started having more crises. I had a plastic crisis, which is when your bone marrow stops making new blood. That happened 3.5 years ago when I was in the hospital for a while because my hemoglobin was like a 3. My bone marrow had stopped making new blood, and they couldn't really tell me why. Like they told me that it was due to some type of infection or virus or whatever, but they couldn't exactly tell me what it was. But I ended up getting over that. Like I got blood transfusions. My bone marrow ended up working like how it was supposed to work. So yeah, but ever since then, I've had more pain. I also started having chronic pain, which is everyday pain. Like I have pain in my knees, my feet, and my back every day. When you have pain every day, no matter what, like no matter the medicine you take or whatever, that's called chronic pain. And vaso-occlusive crisis is when I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but it's when you have this extra pain. Like even though I have pain every day, I have extra pain on top of that pain, which we refer to as pain crisis or crisis. I just call it plain crisis. However, ever since I started this study, since I was getting sick 3.5 years ago, I started this study called the HOPE study where they were testing out this medicine. It was GBT 440 or something like that. GBT was the company that was I guess making it, the pharmaceutical company or whatever. But I did pretty good in the study. My levels started to increase. My hemoglobin went from, my baseline hemoglobin was a 6.9 to like a 7. It started to increase and it started to go up to like a 8, maybe a 8.9, sometimes a 9. It just depends. But recently I stopped the study. However, they switched me over to getting the medicine from the CVS pharmacy or whatever, because the medicine ended up getting approved, which is known as Oxbryta, and this is another name for it that I can't remember. It starts with a V, Voxylator or something like that. But yeah, it ended up getting approved, and honestly, since the medicine got approved, I don't know if they changed the formula or whatever. I don't know, but I've started feeling a lot better. Like, I still have my chronic pain. I still have pain every day, but I've been having less pain crisis, and it's been less severe. You know, aside from a few times wherever I've had severe crisis. But you know, that was before the medicine got approved, right? That was before I started. Yeah, before because it was only like a couple of months ago when I started getting the medicine from the company. Or when I stopped the study and I started getting the medicine from CVS through the company, through the GBT company. I can't really remember what the GBT stands for right now, but I'll probably put it, you know, when I think it's global. What do B stand for? I don't know, but it's global something, global blood therapeutics. I don't know. The name of it is GBT. But yeah, since I switched over to getting it from the pharmacy or whatever, I've been doing a lot better. Like, a lot better than I was when I was in a study. Like, my pain isn't as severe. I have better days when I don't have crisis, and when I do have crisis, I'm able to manage them. They're more easy to manage. Like, I can take my pain medicine, and you know, a few hours of resting and staying hydrated and using my heating pad and, you know, all that stuff that I use, then I feel better sometimes. It's not always like that, because I still have those crises when I have my period, and those last for a couple of days, maybe even a week or two. But lately, you know, it hasn't been as long or as terrible. Stop doing that. Like, I can't see. But it hasn't been as long or as severe as they usually were. Oh yeah, the only thing I'm missing is the gallbladder. I forgot about that. The only surgery that I've had was getting my gallbladder removed, and I got that done in 2012. Because I was having gallstones. I had gallstones that was making my stomach upset whenever I eat certain foods or whatever, and so I ended up getting that surgery. It did got better. Like, my acid reflux got better, and what else? It was supposed to make you less constipated, but I still have those issues. It seemed like ever since I got the gallbladder removal, the constipation has gotten worse, actually. So right now, that's my main issue. Everything else has gotten better, I can say. Why you saying like that? It sounds so fake. Like, you know what I mean?
You got organs.
You throwing me off with that Does it sound like
You got organs.
Shut up.
She got organs.
And just go ahead, cause he throwing me off with that.
Yo,
it's your turn. I'm finished now.
All right. I can't remember all that stuff like her, but all right. I'm gonna start off at when I was 2. I had my spleen removed. Then later on at 7, I had a stroke. Then later on at 9, I had my adenoids removed.
Every 2 years.
And then at 11, I had my tonsils removed. And now, 2019? Was it 2019?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, last year I had a head surgery. I can't think of the name of it.
So much for details.
What was the head surgery for? What caused you to have the surgery?
My head surgery was because yeah, basically, when I had my stroke, the right side of my head, the right side of my brain, the blood vessels in my brain, they were very small, so they decided to put a muscle on it to help my brain vessels like they took like a muscle from someplace.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and it expanded my brain vessels on one side, my blood vessels on one side. Excuse me. Yeah, and
so that makes it easier for your blood to flow through or something.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know all that.
Yeah, it was barely getting through on the right side.
Yeah, because I think with most of us, it's like that. We do have that small vein. Because I remember being in that study. What it was, Doppler, where they used to, used to take like this. It was like an ultrasound on your brain, basically, to you know, to track
Yeah.
to your
Yeah, to look at your
About the blood vessels.
yeah.
to track the I guess
The flow of blood.
the flow of blood and all of that, and then the thinness of the vessel
Yeah.
to watch it.
Those
basically.
things were thin.
Yeah.
They were small.
Yeah, I think it's like that with all of us. It just you had a stroke, so I guess that's why they did the surgery on you, and maybe you had damage or whatever.
Yeah, my doctor showed my X-rays to a brain surgeon. Well, a neuro. What is it?
They're the same thing.
Yeah,
Brain
surgeon. And he hopped on it and was like, "Yeah, we need to get this done
ASAP.
Yeah,
So you was threatening to have another stroke.
pretty much. Pretty much.
I know Dina. She.
That goes to show how different y'all sickle cell crisis is, because she have more to report on the issues that she has
When it comes
going
with pain,
through
yeah.
When it comes to pain.
He has
I
more
can't
organ
remember that.
issues.
Right. You had
Yeah.
more organ issues and not as much pain, but now that
That's
you
partially
are
organs.
older, you are having more pain,
More
than
pain
what
than
you
you
have
do.
been having.
Because I feel like it gets worse when you get older. It's like our body takes this beating basically from the time we were born, and we're more fragile, and every little thing, you know, causes us to have pain.
Yeah.
Like for me, like I never had chronic pain. Like I never had these many issues with sickle cell or whatever. Like yeah, I had the crisis. I used to be sick. I was still a fragile child. My mama, you know, used to fuss at me for playing and stuff like that because I would get sick afterwards. I mean, it didn't stop me, but I used to get sick afterwards. So I'm not gonna say that I feel a lot better. I feel like, yeah, my pain is more severe now than it was when I was a child. However, it was still hard. Like I always had issues with pain with sickle cell. But I do feel like the older we get, the worse it gets. Like, cause our body isn't as resilient no more. You get sick, it takes longer for you to recover. And then by the time you recover, you have another crisis. Like, it's like we don't ever really get a break. And then you take me, who got chronic pain, and I have pain every day in those areas. Like a couple of years ago, for whatever reason, my back, if I don't take my medicine every day, like I have back pain all the time. I mean, I have it anyway, but it gets worse. The back pain, I'm not hugging you. The knees, my back, my knees, what else? My feet. For whatever reason, it feels like arthritis or whatever in my feet.
You are getting old.
Like they just be hurting for no reason. Like I don't even gotta be walking around and they just hurt. But that's what chronic pain is. Like it hurts regardless of what you do.
Felt good.
And I guess, you know, when you kind of get in this age range that I'm in, or that we're in, 25 to like 30,
about 20 to 30,
and maybe older,
yeah.
you start getting these pains that don't go away. Basically, you gotta deal with it every day, and then you gotta have crisis on top of that, which makes it worse. So I feel like a lot of times y'all be downplaying the things that we go through with sickle cell, because y'all feel like, oh, you know, y'all can still function, but we're functioning with a lot of pain. We're still in pain. Just because you see us working or doing whatever doesn't mean that we feel good. A lot of times we be working against our body, like forcing our body to do stuff, do things that it doesn't have the energy to do. It's difficult, but I can say, from when I was younger compared to now, I do feel like my symptoms are worse now. Like, I'm always tired, for one. The insomnia, like, I don't sleep like that. I've always kind of, like, not really, you know, I've never really been a person that got sleep at night.
No. I used to get sleep. I don't get sleep no more.
But now, like, it be like, I get 3 to 6 hours, and I'm lucky to get 6 hours of sleep.
How much will I get? I go to bed probably around 3. No, I'll probably get 6, 3 to 6.
What time you wake up?
I probably, no. I get my full day of sleep now.
The only time you will, like, for me, it depends. But most of the time, my average sleep is from 3 to 6 hours. I don't get no more than
Y'all
6.
sleep probably about.
Unless my body is real tired and then I'm sick, so I'm sleeping.
Hold on, what is 3 a.m. to 11?
3 a.m. to 11. That's 8 hours, ain't it?
I think so. Yeah, that's 8 hours. Yeah, that's 8 hours.
You
Yeah, I get
over.
my sleep.
Yeah, you do. That's a long time. But I wake up early.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Like I'll
be dead if I
go
woke
to
up
sleep
early.
at 3, and sometimes I'll wake back up at 4 or 5, and I don't go back to sleep.
Yeah. I did that once. I was like,
That happens to me a lot. Like if I ever sleep from like all the way through, I never sleep all the way through. I always wake up in the middle. Like, or sometimes I wake up every hour
I wake up to use the bathroom.
or every couple of minutes. Sometimes it's just hard to sleep, especially when you have pain every day. Like I have pains that, like, especially when I'm sleeping, my pain get worse. Like I have it in my hip, my knee. It's usually the legs that I have problems with, but that's the chronic pain that I have. You know, I do take my medicine, but just because we take medicine doesn't mean that it's gonna help. Like, the pain meds don't always help. They don't help right away. They're not miracle workers. They're not cures. We only use them to help manage our sickle cell. They don't take the problems away. They just put a Band-Aid on it.
What was I about to say? That day after the thingy we got, yo, I had to take a rest.
The crab,
Yeah.
the crab boil.
Yeah, after that, the next day.
I don't think I took a rest anymore. I think I worked. I just forced myself to,
yo. I was like,
because I had to. I had a deadline to meet, so I couldn't.
I was
chill.
like, oh my
But
god.
I did work from my bed. I didn't sit at my laptop. I mean my computer.
I said, yo. I was like, bro, I ain't even did nothing yesterday but sit up and laugh. But good god.
That's tiring. Like, even just sitting here doing this video talking makes us tired.
I was like,
It's
damn,
a lot. Like, we gotta
go.
do so much just to do normal stuff. Just sitting in front. My back is hurting right now. I'm tired. You see me leaning on this thing. Like, we talked for 26 minutes.
It's 26.
And I guarantee you, if I allow because sometimes I be needing to rest, but I be forcing my body to do stuff. But if I allow my body to get the rest that it needs, you know how long it would be for me to feel normal? Weeks, months probably. Like, I remember when I had finished school, like when I was in school and I stopped school, I was resting for like the year after. Like I needed all of that rest. Like I couldn't do anything. I was so tired because I was forcing myself to get up and do my work so I have things done on time. And you know, being in school is a lot. Even if you go online, I feel like it's online. They try to give you double the work because you're online and you can do more at home, I guess. But they give you double the work, so
overload you with the work online.
Right. So it's hard. But after when I graduated, 2018, yeah.
Yeah.
I rested.
I
rested that whole year after. I needed it too. I was tired.
Yep.
But yeah, we just wanted to come on here and talk about our experiences. I feel like, you know, we was kind of all over the place, but that's just how our brains work. You know, we will go in detail about some of the things we talked about. Like, for instance, I'll make a video about the Oxbryta study and how, in my experiences with Oxbryta and then, you know, being in a study versus having the medicine be approved and be getting the medicine from the pharmacy. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about my experiences with hydroxyurea. I'll talk about my gallbladder surgery, my experience with that. We both will talk about that. He will talk about his surgeries or whatever too, if he can remember. And you know, for some of these videos, we'll have our moms. You'll hear them in the background or whatever, because we don't remember a lot of stuff. Like sickle cell messes with your cognitive dissonance. So we have bad memory. Like, we don't remember a lot of things, and sometimes it takes our brains longer to process things. Like, we have to kind of think about things a little longer than most people. So that's why we be all over the place or whatever. But you know, we'll do individual videos about our experiences or whatever, so y'all can know in detail the things that we went through or whatever. And that's it. Bye.
Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. To learn more about us, visit our website at cellmatesapparel.com.